The Raxium Axial Series LED third brake light with a smoked lens is a great way to modernize the rear end of your 2007 to 2017 Tundra while improving visibility and safety. If you're looking for an aggressive, custom look with a brighter LED lighting, this is a solid upgrade over the factory third brake light. This third brake light is going to feature high-intensity LEDs that provide better illumination than those stock halogen bulbs, making sure other drivers see you when you're braking. Now with this third brake light, you have this option with the inline switch right here on the back for a solid brake light or the more modern 5 flashes before the brake light comes on solid, which is a nice little added feature. This smoked lens gives your truck a sleek, stealthy appearance, blending well with darker color schemes and other aftermarket modifications. Axial designed this brake light with a durable polycarbonate lens and weather-sealed housing, making sure it has long-lasting performance in all weather conditions. The smoked finish is UV resistant, preventing it from fading over time, while these LEDs are built for longevity, offering lower maintenance solution compared to traditional bulbs without the need to swap them out. Now as far as pricing goes on this, it's coming in right around that $80 price range, which is an affordable price point for a custom blacked out look and modern LED lighting on the back of your truck. This third brake light is going to be plug and play, making the installation quick and straightforward. It connects directly to your factory wiring harness with no splicing or complicated wiring requirements. The entire process takes about 2 hours or probably less of your time, so we're giving this one a simple 1 out of 3 wrenches on a difficulty meter. Now, let's check out an install video from one of our extreme terrain customers and see exactly how this goes on your Tundra.
The tools that we're going to be using here. So we have a socket wrench, extension just in case we need it. Got a 10mm and an 8mm short socket, and then a 8mm and a 10mm long socket there. I got the tape just because I did put tape inside the socket there just to capture that nut. Got a variety of trim tools as needed there, as well as a metal one if we need some horsepower there. Got a flathead and Phillips screwdriver, make sure we're prepared for everything. And then a rag just to throw in there for good measure as well in case we need to wipe anything down. So that's just a brief rundown of all the tools we're going to be using today to get this install taken care of. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started on the interior here. We do have our plastic pry tool. That's going to make sure we're not scratching anything. And then what I also have here is a deep well socket with an extension and the socket wrench here. And so essentially what we're going to be doing, there's the little SRS tab right here that just pops over. You can see it on this side as well. And we're going to pop that open, and behind that there's going to be a 10mm bolt. And what we're going to do is just pull that out on each side. And what that allows is these panels to come off, and then this headliner will be able to droop down just in the middle there. We're not going to be messing with any of this stuff here up top, just pulling it down here in the middle. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So I can already feel it's pretty loose there. So knowing that, I'm just going to go ahead and remove my socket wrench. Just kind of use this to spin it off here. There we are. You probably will drop these bolts here, but essentially this is what it looks like. Just a small 10mm bolt. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the floorboard here and go over to the other side. But before I do that, I do want to go ahead and peel this section back here. Do it more effectively, use the pry tool. And another side note too, I do have the seat belts in the lowest position they can go here. This is adjustable. I haven't pulled this apart yet, but you know, I think it might help out there. You will see some plastic tabs here. Alright, so that right there, you can see this clearance that we made just from pulling that apart. You can see these 2 plastic tabs. I'll point it out with the trim tool, one right here, one up top there, and then maybe a third one right there that is no longer with us at this time. I don't think that one was on there when we started this, but essentially that's what we're trying to do, is uncork this to where we can just drop that down. So with that being said, now I'll go ahead and move over to the other side and we'll do the same thing. And what we're looking at right there is essentially where this headliner can come out from both sides. So according to the instructions for this one, we do need to kind of move that weather stripping out of the way. So So I'm gonna go ahead and take this tool and just kind of get under that ridge, just like that. Okay, there will be a little bit of adhesive in there. If you feel the need, go back in there and replace that adhesive. It is real sticky stuff, so just kind of word to the wise there. And I'll go ahead and we'll get this headliner pulled down and then start working on getting that third brake light out of there. So with that, we'll go ahead and get these 4 screws out of the way. I'm also going to grab my rag, place on top of here, so that way I can make sure that stuff doesn't fly away or anything like that. Okay, I'm going to place my wrench. My tool's right there. Alright, so as we're taking this out, you're going to feel it release a little bit too. Once we do that, then our lens cover can pop right off. We'll use our plastic pry tool here, and you'll feel a little gasket that's situated right here. I'll just go ahead and pull that out, and then that's what the factory lens looks like right there. So I'm going to go ahead and set this over to the side. Okay, now we just have our reflector units. As you can see, I have those LEDs in there with the stock brake light assembly on that. I'll go ahead and use my pry tool, get a little leverage here. Good news is this is some pretty healthy weather stripping, so you can feel good about that. Okay, again, kind of keeping in mind this adhesive that's here. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm kind of running along this headliner, and I'm looking for the little tabs in there. Essentially, we're just going to pop those out. Okay, there's one. Should have another one right around here. There's 2. There's 3. Okay. There we go. Looked a little violent, but that's what they're designed to do. Another word of caution, I'm going to go ahead and get some paper towels real quick to ensure that I'm not getting this stuff everywhere that I don't have to. Alright, so one of the things I would recommend as well, getting some paper towels. You can see I got some, looks like some RTV on my hands, like substance there. So just going to go ahead and do a quick wipe down of that. Make sure that stuff's not getting tracked up onto the headliner there, and just working with caution as we're doing this here. Keep that headliner nice and pristine if we can. So you can see right here, we have these plastic push pins secured up in this top liner. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is going to give us access to the 2 10mm bolts. There are essentially one right here and one right here. So take your 10mm deep socket. See if you can locate that thing. Being careful not to pry too much on that headliner. You are going to have to put a little bit in there. These bolts are kind of recessed in there, so it'll be a little bit tricky to get to it. Not impossible, but a little bit tricky. Sometimes what I like doing too is just taking the socket wrench and then locating that. Okay, I can feel it with my hands, but getting it on there is going to be a little bit tricky. Again, not impossible, but see, there you go. Now it's on there. Okay, install my socket wrench. Okay, now that I know it's loose, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the wrench off, and then just go ahead and hand loosen it there. A little bit better control. I'm gonna hopefully mitigate pulling on this headliner a little bit. All right, so I just reached up in there. I can feel it. It is loosening. It's kind of an interesting stud there because it does have a pretty healthy shoulder on it, so kind of tricky to tell, especially when you can't see it, you know, exactly where that nut is located on there. Okay, that feels like it's off, and essentially I just dropped it into this little channel here, but that's okay. A little magnet tool will make quick work of that. Once we get this light out, you'll see what I'm talking about here. So now I'm on to this other side. Put the wrench on there. There we go. Okay, that's broke loose now. Make sure that's secure. Okay, now we're just screwing it off. Okay, happened to drop that nut down in there as well. So, 0 for 2, but that's okay. Because now this little guy, I'll go ahead and grab my orange tool here. we're just gonna kind of work around the edges of this. Again, putting our rag there, protecting that paint. Okay, so instead what we're gonna do here, so looking at the instructions, it does say this metal tab right down in here, we're gonna go ahead and lift up on that. So I'm gonna grab my flat blade screwdriver and go ahead and gently pry up on this guy here, trying to get under that lip there. Go ahead and see if I can kind of unwedge this under here. Okay, so I just went ahead and pulled this one out. It finally did break loose from all the adhesive. And that is everything that was holding it on there. So you can see this gasket still holding up for the most part. A lot of it did go with the old light here. So you have this little clip here. Let's go ahead and remove that. That's just a locator clip for the wire harness. And then one plug right here. And that is it. That light is out. See some of that gasket right there. So that's our factory assembly. Main differences you can see on the new one, the Raxium here on my right hand side, and the factory one on the left is going to be the gasket going around the perimeter of this one here up top. This one has this spongy adhesive right here, so that's going to go ahead and take the place of all that gasket material. All right, and I'm just going to slowly go ahead and peel off this old gasket here. It's in rough shape. It's split everywhere. It's not really doing too much. Peel it off as best you can. Obviously, it's a little tricky there. Go ahead and hook up our third brake light. Okay. You can see here the two studs on the back. That's going to be our 8mm bolts, as well as our light switch right there. This is the strobe function. This is going to be the O is going to be your off function, so standard brake light. So I'll go ahead and try it with the on function. What I like to do on these is go ahead, position everything before I take that adhesive strip off of there. Make sure everything locates. Okay, so that's right there what that'll look like in that housing. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is test it before I go ahead and button everything back up for permanence. And as you can see here, that's our brake light installed with the brake light turned on, as well as the cargo light because the door's open. Okay, so as you can see, we're all lined up there. I'm going to go ahead and pull this back out so that way we can pull that adhesive strip off of there. On the back side, there's that foam tape, that new foam tape. That's just going to ensure we're getting a positive seal before everything gets buttoned up. Okay, as you can see, it just peels off like so. I'm going to go ahead and cut this in the middle. And just like that, we have a nice, fresh adhesive gasket here. All right, and I should show you as well, as you can see, down in here, this is where the nuts would go, is that channel right there. And you can see those holes, one right there, one over on that side, and that's your access panels where these studs go. Okay, so with that, we'll go ahead and get this button back in. What I'm doing here is just lining up those holes. Okay, and essentially just kind of pushing with the palm, making sure it's positive seal everywhere. And what I'll go ahead and do now is put the two provided nuts on the back side. We'll tighten those up and get that headliner back in there. I have an 8mm deep socket there. What I like about these ones, they are captured, and so essentially those will get held down in there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, locate that stud up top. This one you might even be able to get started with your hand. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to be a negative on that one, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it in that bolt there, or the socket. Okay, now we can go ahead and get that one tightened up. I did notice on the back side here too, where those studs were, there weren't really any locating pins or anything like that. You just have a stud going through a long oval, but this seems like it's going to be secure enough that it's not moving around, especially once those nuts are tightened. So something to keep in mind there as you're before you're tightening this down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and snug it up hand tight here. And then we'll go ahead and move on to the other side. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead, take my socket wrench, and just give her a little snug there. Just enough to where it's gonna be sitting on that gasket. And that's there, that's nice and tight. Okay, you can see here, got a little bit of stuff there, so probably wouldn't be a bad idea. You threw a couple rags down, something like that. I'm obviously gonna go in and just shop back that stuff, so it's no big deal. But definitely something to keep in mind. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and gently pry up. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and gently pry up. 1, 2. Use the pry tool there, pry down. Kind of see what we're working with. It's in there, it's just a little cattywampus. Okay, and that's number 4. So yeah, essentially that pin was just kind of sitting in there, a little cockeyed like that. And what I had to do is go in there, switch it to where it's just going straight up, goes right into the home. So now that that's all lined up there, go ahead and reinstall our headliner carefully here. And it just has a little channel that you can see there, and everything just fits up there real nice. Okay, super simple, just pops right back up in there. I'm gonna give that just a quick wipe down to make sure nothing's gonna get tracked or anything like that. Okay, from here we can move to the inside of the cap. Now we're gonna get this bolt here lined up and then get that installed. A little bit easier if you're facing it head on. Okay, so that's snug, so I'm just gonna go a little bit past that. Just right there, all you're doing is securing this plastic piece. Put that back in, just like that.
All right, that's gonna wrap up our review and install of the Raxiom Axial Series LED third brake light with a smoked lens for the 2007 to 2017 Tundras. And for all things Tundra, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.